So I remember it was my very favorite Christmas. I was about 8 years old. We had just moved to this small town, Willis, Texas, and my mom came and told us, look, you're not gonna have a Christmas this year. We just moved, we don't have money. She was pregnant with my sisters at the time, and so it was 6 of us. We were sad, but we wanted her not to feel bad. So we were okay with it. And we were in the room, I remember, just playing around, trying to just get okay with the situation, thinking we wasn't going to have Christmas. Not just presents, but no food, no bags of fruit and candy. We were told nothing. So we heard this knock on the door. And my mom was like, be quiet, y'all go back in the room, be quiet. And so we're nosy. So we're like, what's going on, who out there? We don't know anybody, we just moved to this new city. And so we heard them talking quietly. And all of a sudden we heard my mom cry. And my mom is this strong woman. She's a single mother, strong, so I really never saw my mom cry. So we rushed out at that point because we're very protective of our mother. So we rushed out and there was this group of people just there. I can't tell you how they looked or anything, but only thing I saw was just a wall full of gifts, a wall full of, a table had food on it, and we just started jumping around, and I was 8, so I didn't really understand the real, the severity in my mom's emotions, but I saw her face and the tears, and I heard one woman say, don't cry, we all need help sometime. Just realize that people are here for you. We saw you move into this town with these beautiful kids and we just wanted to help. And at that time I was so excited, but I was just looking at these people like they didn't know us at all, but they were still helping us. And it just made me feel so happy because I was so sad at first. And that feeling just made me realize that you're really not in this world alone. And it just gave me this feeling of hope. Mostly for my mom, because it was just such a beautiful thing with her crying and seeing that emotion. And yeah, I guess it was such mixed feelings of joy, but still sadness and still, you know, mostly joy. That's how I was feeling. So we're walking across the street, 5 kids, buckets in our hands, pans, buckets, whatever we could find, going over to Miss Pearl's house. I had to be, I don't know, maybe around 7 years old. We were going over there to get water. My mom, single parent, and our water got turned off. As a kid, I really didn't understand that this was truly life, that we had to go across the street in order to have water to drink. We had to have water to take baths and cook. So my mom always made things seem like, you know, this is what's going on, we're gonna figure it out, we're gonna fix it. But as a kid, at first I didn't think too much of it. When I was going over Miss Pearl's house, because she was so sweet and accommodating, y'all go right on out there, fill it up, and go on back across that street and be careful. But then some kids saw us one day. And they were like, what are y'all doing? And me, young, I'm like, we have to get water so we can eat and take baths and stuff. And then they started laughing and talking about, oh, y'all poor, y'all on welfare and food stamps. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's how we eat, not realizing that that's not what everybody is doing. So it was really, at that time, I was feeling like, so we're not normal. So this is not normal. People don't all the time have to go across the street in order to get water so that they can eat and take baths and cook. And then thankfully our heat was on, so we were able to boil the water to have, but some days it was cold baths. Some days, you know, we just really struggled, but it was, you know, it was natural for us because we just did whatever we had to do in order for my mom not to feel bad about not being able to provide for us in the way that I'm guessing other kids didn't go through. At the time, I did not feel like it was something that was unusual until, you know, kids are cruel, until those kids were making fun of us. And my mom had to sit down and tell us, yeah, you know, this month Mommy didn't make enough money to pay the water, so we have to do what we have to do. And luckily, thankfully, Miss Pearl is allowing us to use her water. So and I didn't realize we were getting up early just so other kids wouldn't see us. My mom tried to protect us from those things. And now when I'm looking back on it and I'm thinking about how I felt then, it's a little sad when you realize that you didn't have the resources that most people in America is supposed to have. But in a sense, I still felt joy that I didn't feel bad about myself, just about my situation. So yeah, that's how I felt. So I get home, open up the letter. Today is finally here, the foreclosure letter. I worked my whole life to try to purchase this home, coming one of 8. Never owning a home was a big accomplishment for someone in my family. So after being laid off from my good job, after having my second daughter, I realized I could not afford to keep my house. So I had to let it go. And it was the most devastating thing that I've experienced, not just because of the house, but because my entire family looked up to me as the golden child who made it out of New Waverly, Texas, and moved way to Cleveland, Ohio, and had a house of her own. And so the fact that I had to let my home go, all the memories I had, both of my kids were born and brought to that house, and looking at each room, going through each room, saying goodbye to those memories, saying goodbye to just the feeling of failure, the first thing that I've actually purchased, the first thing that I own. And like I said, coming from one of 8, poor family, small town, having my own house and then losing it was a huge disappointment that I felt not only for myself, but for my family. It was definitely, I lost my first home.
Thank you so much for watching the Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries. I just want to take a moment to talk to you. That's right, you that's watching right now. You the mom, or maybe you're the dad, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, or perhaps you're an auntie or uncle, but you're someone out there that has a heart to give, you have a heart to serve, and as you're watching this Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I've had some life lessons, I've had some setbacks, I've had some experiences, I've gone through some things that have helped me become a better person, and I want to take that and I want to release that to other folks. Okay. Maybe you're a speaker and you're already doing it. Maybe you've written books and you've already done that. Or maybe the story that's inside of you, the expertise that's inside of you, the message inside of you, this is the right platform for you to make a bigger difference and a bigger impact in the world. Now, this whole Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, if you had to sum it up in just one word, and it's kind of hard to do that, but as I'm talking to you and you're listening right now, you might be saying, Shay, what's the one word? And the one word I would say is just legacy. Legacy. There's a legacy I understand that you want to leave for your family, and I get that, but there's also a legacy of your knowledge. There's a legacy of your expertise. And think about this. You're able to share your message or share your story or share your expertise, and long after you're gone, they still have a window into the soul of who you are and the impact that leaves behind. If that's you and you're someone that's want to get the information, you're someone that's ready to do something bigger than just your business and bigger than just making more money, but you want to have more meaning in the world, do me a favor. Go over to www.themakingofanontrepreneurdocuseries.com. I know that's a long email, a long address, but I want you to hear it again one more time. themakingofanoentrepreneur.com. Now, when you get there, just put your first name and your last name and your phone number and information in there. Worst case scenario, You have a meeting with the team and decide, hey, me being a cast member, this isn't a good fit, but I had a lot of fun. Best case scenario, you decide to take a step. Folks understand your backstory, understand what you've been through, and the world is much better off while you're here. And when the day comes and you decide to transition and move on, it's still doing very, very well. So with that being said, I just want to pop in. Thanks a lot for watching the Making of an Entrepreneur series. My name is Shay Brown. I want to encourage you to continue to watch, and I'll see you at the next episode. God bless.
So you got nappy hair, you fat, you bald-headed. These are things that we said at our house most days. It's 1 of 8. So what we did was we played the dozens most of the time. And I got called fat most of the time. Out of the 8 kids, I was the chubby one. So that was the quick thing to say to me anyways. But then they started saying it at school. And I'm like, that, okay, you know, I like my shape. My mom always instilled in us, we were beautiful, we were, you know, your shape was your shape, but still those words mattered. So we had, you know, I was still cool with it. 1 of 8, we ate in my family. That's how we showed love, that's how we showed affection. So we ate, so we were big people. It wasn't until I went off to college that I started realizing that I didn't want to be that thick girl, that fluffy girl. I wanted to, you know, I wanted to slim down a little bit. And when I got to a point where I started really losing weight after my 2 kids, because I got up to about 300 pounds. And with my 2 kids, I decided that I didn't want to be the old fat mom. I had to choose a struggle. I couldn't be both of them. So I really started focusing in on my weight. But during that time, I still felt like I was still that fat kid. I still, no matter how small I got, I still felt fat, and it became unhealthy at that point. I started doing unhealthy things to my body. I started to take stuff to make me lose weight in a very unhealthy way, exercising, eating about 900 calories a day, and exercising about 2,000, losing about 2,000 or 3,000 a day, and got very unhealthy. What I realized is there was that bully still in my head. It wasn't my sisters, it wasn't the classmates, it was me. And I had to realize that beauty, it has nothing to do with your weight. Being healthy was truly the new sexy. And I had to get to being healthy. And that was a defining moment in my life where I started to realize that it's not about being skinny or fat. It's really about being healthy. So yeah, once I made that pivot, things really started looking up. Okay, so I'm afraid of heights, terribly afraid of heights. And when I was young, my big brother, who is my hero, we threw my mom's shoe on top of the roof and on top of the building. And he said, we gotta get it. We gotta get it off before mama get home. And I'm like, I'm not going, you know, you're the only choice. So here we are, I'm scared of heights. I get on his hands, he pushed me up there. At the time it was okay, I was gonna do it and it was gonna be fine. And I got on the roof, and once I got up there and looked down, I froze. It was over. And so I have my brother yelling, you gotta come down. If you don't come down, we both getting beat. Mama gonna beat up both of us. You gotta come down. I'm crying, I'm scared. And so he's like, just listen to me, T. Only thing you have to do is turn around and just jump. I got you, I'm gonna catch you. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting off this roof. I'm just gonna stay here. Mom get home, we just gonna get a whooping. And he was like, you're gonna have to get down anyway, so you might as well listen to me and come down. Just turn around on your stomach and come down. And when I was thinking about this story, I thought about a couple of things. I eventually got down. I did exactly what he told me to do, and I got down. But the defining moment that when I look back on it, is that if I had listened to him at first, I could have got down a lot quicker. Yes, I was gonna have to still, it's gonna be my journey. I was gonna get over the fear. I was gonna have to get on my stomach. It was gonna be my journey and my transformation and my process. But if I had listened to him, my time up there afraid would have been less. So that's the first thing I realized. And then second, I had to trust somebody who had did it before. I had to come down, and I had to come down that way. I had to release my fears, and I had to trust him and just fall. And that was my big brother. And so I know a lot of times it's difficult to do that, but when I think back at my fear, just like with life, we go through things, we're afraid, but if you trust some people that can help you through the process that's been there before, you don't have to spend as much time scared. You can come down, you still have to go through it. It's still gonna be a little frightening, but that was a pivoting moment for me, just thinking about that you can do whatever. Sometimes you need a little help to guide you down, but if you trust the process, you can get there. So, loved it. So I'm leaving the nursing home, and I turn around and I said, Mom, I'll see you later. And she said, no, I don't think so, not this time. I don't know. And so I said, no, I'll see you later. I'm coming back home after my trip. And she said, I love you. And she said, make sure that you continue to be great. And I left. And about a week later, I got the FaceTime. And they were saying they was taking my mom off of the machines. And I was FaceTiming her, and I looked at her, and I told her, I said, you can let go. And this was hard. Like I've mentioned, I'm one of 8, and my mom's a single parent, so she was one of the next thing to Jesus, is Jesus in my mama. So to tell her that it was okay for her to let go was hard because she was 65. But what I will take from my mother in her life is that time waits for nobody. You have to treat your body right, you have to treat your mind right, and you have to treat other people right. She always instilled, it's not about what you say to people, but how you make them feel. And my mom was a person who did that. And I realized that me not taking care of my body, me treating my body, because ultimately that's the reason why she passed. And so time just waits for nobody. You have to treat your body right now. You have to do what you love now. You can't just sit in very comfortable situations. You have to live out your purpose every single day and be great. So when she left this earth, I took that piece of her and I ran with it. So at that moment, I changed my life. I really changed my direction. And I realized I had to live in my assignment, and I had to move forward every day. And a lot of people don't do that. So I tell you guys this story just so you know that it's okay. Even no matter where you're at this point, time waits for nobody. And you have to start pivoting to your purpose today.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown. I just want to speak to you, the speaker, or maybe not even a speaker, right? Maybe you're not a speaker, but you have a message inside of you that you want to release, or maybe you have a story, right? A story of your life, a story in your career, or maybe as you're listening right now, you're an expert, right? You're an expert at teaching people how to do something. You're an expert at raising kids. And I want you to imagine for a moment that you had an opportunity to share your message or your story on a bigger stage. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment and what that would mean for you if you could reach your target audience. If you're an entrepreneur, if that target audience got associated to the problem that you solve, or if you're a super entrepreneur with sales funnels out there, not only did it get associated to who you were, but they were able to join your list. Now, for other folks, that won't make no sense at all. But for you, the entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to invite you over to something called the Comeback Champion Summit. And the whole purpose of the Comeback Champion Summit is really to do one thing, which is one word, and that is possibilities. That's right. When you get a chance to get on stage, you get a chance to do it virtually, and some of you maybe in person, and you get a chance to share your story. So something deep inside of you. I always say your message, because some of you have a message or your expertise. Then guess what happens? 3 things happen. Number 1, you get to make a difference. And isn't that why you are on this earth? I mean, I don't want to get emotional here, but you're really on this earth to make a difference for someone else. Something has happened to you so it can go through you to someone else. And being able to speak on a platform that provides an audience, it's like having a microphone that allows you to help more people faster. So that's number one. Number two, when you're on a platform, I'm gonna invite you to the Comeback Champion Summit, you get a chance to have more meaning in the world, to have more impact, and to have more influence. And that's really who we're looking for. We're looking for folks out there who have an interest, want, or desire of serving others. So if that's you, I'm gonna invite you to go over to www.comebackchampionsummit.com. Again, comebackchampionsummit.com. Click the button, it'll say apply to speak. Go through the process. And if it's a good fit, can't wait to share your story over at the Comeback Champion Summit or any one of our platforms that serves other folks. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again real soon. See you out.
The question is, what would I tell my 21-year-old self? Whew. The first thing I would probably say is just enjoy and trust the process. We're in this society where everybody wants it right now, gimme type of thing, the microwave type of environment, and success just doesn't come like that. So I would think of it as, my mom used to tell me this story all the time about the man who cut open the cocoon when the butterfly was trying to emerge. And he was trying to help them, but in place of helping them, what happened was he cut that butterfly out of the cocoon too quickly. And so it never really flew properly. Because there's a point of process. That butterfly had to go through some struggles, had to go through some things in order for its wings to get strong. A lot of times we want people just to give it to us. But in that process, in that transformation, that's where the beauty happens. I grow spiritually, mentally, physically during the process. If someone was just to give it to me, I wouldn't have grown, I wouldn't have learned my lessons, I wouldn't have been better. So just enjoy the process, T. And to anybody else out there that's trying to figure things out, don't worry about it happening tomorrow. That's not gonna last. Enjoy the process and learn the lessons that you need to learn in order to be strong so you can fly high. Yeah, always speak kindness to yourself. The world is so full of people that are trying to pull you down, situation. You got television, social media, let's not even start with that. You have to be your biggest advocate. You have to be the one that's cheering you on the most. It's nice to have people that encourage you, but if you're not encouraging yourself, if you're not speaking positivity into your life every single day, if you're not affirming and telling yourself that you can do it, even through it all. When I went from 300 pounds to under 200, I had to speak kindness to myself every day. I had to look in the mirror and say, you are beautiful, you are kind, you're worthy to be healthy. You have to speak those things. It's a practice, just like anything else. But if I was to go back and really think about that time in my life, if I had loved myself at every space and every moment, my process would have been a lot easier. It would have been a lot smoother. You have to be able to speak and see yourself in a positive light, no matter where you are in the stage of your life. You may not be perfect, nobody's perfect. The world is not perfect, situations are not perfect, but you can always speak kindness to yourself. The same way you do your girlfriends and your homeboys, because you would never tell them they fat or they this or they that. You're always gonna give them positivity. Be your best friend. Make sure that you're always speaking kindness to yourself. You have enough people that are hating on you already, so make sure you're your biggest, most powerful advocate. You have got to pivot to your purpose. See, I don't know if y'all can remember, like 2019, everybody, I think, collectively prayed that we were gonna get this 2020 vision. Everybody did. And I think that we all kind of got set down and we had to really look at ourselves and figure out what was going on in our lives. Life is so full of distractions that a lot of times we're just living in an assignment that does not belong to you. You have to learn to pivot back to your purpose, pivot back to health, pivot back to great relationships. Distractions will come to move you away from where you're supposed to be. You have to learn to pivot. So when I was working with this fitness guru, he was great, I knew that's not my total purpose. My purpose was to help him find his vision, help him build his business, help him to find the way, but it wasn't just for him. So when 2020 came along and I asked for clear vision, I asked for it, I was pivoted back to my true purpose, which is helping multiple people to find their purpose, to help them to pivot back to their true assignment and not just living in autopilot. So if I could just go back, I would say it's okay if you're not where you're supposed to be, because you can pivot. It's okay if life is not going the way you think it should be going, because you can pivot, but make sure you're pivoting back to your true purpose and your true assignment. I'm often asked, why do people bring Purpose Chasing Academy to their organization? And the bottom line is, I like to tell people I'm not a baker, I don't sugarcoat nothing. So I'm gonna give it to you straight. And a lot of times we are walking in an assignment that does not belong to you. So what do? We help people to find, define, and pivot right back to their purpose so they can be successful, not only in business, but in life. You may have started off having to get a job at a very young age and you just became good at stuff. You know how we can be just good at things? And so you just become good and then great, and all of a sudden you're in a position working in a job that you hate. You hate it every single day, but you're making good money, so you just deal with it. No longer should you be doing that. You can, and I know it sounds crazy, but you can live in your purpose and still make the type of money that you deserve, that you are supposed to be doing, right? So that's what we do. We help you to come back to your core assignment in life. We all have them. And until you actually start living in your purpose, somebody else can't live in theirs. So we like to try to come out there and help you, bring you right back to the center, right back to your purpose, so that you can thrive in business, in health, in relationship, in life.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and I just want to talk to all my entrepreneurs out there. And if that's you, like you, the entrepreneur, you, the business owner, you, the speaker, you, the coach, you, the author, you, the network marketer, you, the person that just want to do more good in the world by solving a problem, and you want to be paid, right? And so think about right now, if you had more high qualified paying clients that was like banging at your door, how would your life be different? When there's more revenue coming in and you're able to hire more people and you're able to make a bigger difference, what would that look like? Or number two, maybe there's folks that are coming in right now and they're knocking at your door, boom, 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 boom. But the only challenge you have is you're listening. Listen very closely, because this might be you, so listen very carefully. They're not converting fast enough, which means they're talking, they like you, there's conversation going on, but they're not converting. So there's two challenges, right? Number one, I need to attract my ideal client to me who can pay me. And number two, once they get in here, I need to have a system, a sales model, or a process so they convert faster. That means they pay you and then they come back. And if you're listening right now, you're saying, Shay, I want to be able to do that, but I don't want my labor involved. I don't want to work any harder. Shay, I'm at a place right now where I'm ready to reach more people. I'm on a mission, Shay, and I want you to listen very carefully. You were called to serve a group of folks out there, and you can't serve them right now because you don't have the revenue to purchase the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision. If that's you as you're listening, any of that resonates with you, I'm going to give you a website, which is Easy Sales Hub. Again, easysaleshub.com. Let me just spell it. I know you can see it below, but it's EASY, sales, SALES, hub.com. Now, the reason you want to go over to easysaleshub.com is that that's the place you can come to, and you can do two things. One, we'll do a sales audit. So we'll take a look at your sales process, your sales funnels, and we'll see how those are converting. Number two, you can have the tools and resources you need to be able to generate more revenue with less effort so you can serve more folks. So with that being said, as you're watching, go over to www.easysaleshub.com. My name is Shay Brown. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless. you.